Previously on the Ultimate Career.
5 lights, and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix, getting a lot of wheel spin on the start, getting up into second gear just to stop that. Button runs wide, we forced him into the error, we're leading the Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and running a little bit wide, and now we're onto the auto spin curb, and oh my word, we've been completely spun off. And there, that's Roman Grosjean, and oh my word, he's gone across the track, and oh my word, we've gone into him. We've lost a bit of our front wing, and now, can we get past Jenson Button, who is negotiating that back marker? Yes, we can, up into P4. It's been an incredibly action-packed Grand Prix, it's got to be said, but well as Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber. So currently a 4-way title fight. What's up, guys, and welcome to round number 5 of Season 3 of the F1 Ultimate Career. And here we are at the Catalunya circuit for round number 5, as I say. And this is, in fact, going to be the last episode for a couple of weeks. Of course, we've got F1 2015 coming, into our PCs, our Xboxes, our PlayStations this Thursday. So I'm going to be sort of taking a break from this series, as I say, and playing quite a lot of F1 2015 for you guys. So if you guys could leave a like down below, as you always do. 150 likes would be insane on this episode once again. You've been smashing the like button on this series. But getting to today's race, of course, round number 5, as I said, it's a circuit which we did not fare well around last time we visited back in 2010. Only managing 16th place, it was Jenson Button who took the victory last time out. And, well, let's see now what happened in practice. So, today we've got an R&D objective, which is why we're showing you practice for today's episode, and we've got to, we've got a test which could in fact increase our overall downforce by 10%. All we've got to do is run in the rich fuel mixture for 3 laps without using DRS, and here we are then coming towards the end of those 3 laps. It was a pretty straightforward test. The target time is never really too challenging, so yeah, we managed to pass that test, and we should have the upgrades on our car come qualifying, and so we make a cheeky little move down the inside of Paul di Resta. The weather this weekend is looking very suspect, and here you can just see that in action. I believe we've got a 46% chance of rain in this practice session, and then a 44 or 43% chance of rain in the race. So no rain in qualifying, but there is in the race, which could prove pivotal when choosing our setup. And there you can see the Ferrari sliding around. I just thought that we'd go out in this session and sort of brave the rain on these prime tyres. It doesn't work out for us there, spinning around. But yeah, it was vital to sort of get a bit of running in the wet on the dry tyres, because, you know, we're going to be needing that during the race. You know, we could be sort of tiptoeing round at some point during the race, and we really haven't seen a lot of rain, if any at all, this season. So I thought this was quite funny, just, you know, cruising past all these cars on dry tyres, because we came into the pit lane to change onto the full wets just to sort of get accustomed to them, because you know, like I say, we really haven't done a lot of wet running on this game on those tyres. But nonetheless, we managed to have a pretty successful practice session, even if the times didn't reflect it. And now let's see what happened in qualifying. So the sun was out once again for qualifying. It's as if the gods were shining down on us once again. 5 qualifying sessions, and 5 times it has been sunny. And jumping now into Q1, we got out there very, very late in the session, as you can see. The checkered flag is already out, and we don't have a time on the board, and we've got a slower moving car in front of us, so we're really just going to have to squeeze down the inside and pushing him off the circuit there. But, well, you really can't blame us for that, because Massa was really impeding us. The question is it going to be enough to get us into Q2? We were purple through Sector 1, but is that going to compromise our line to the line? No, it isn't. We do manage to scrape through in 15th place. Our teammate getting 14th, and here you can see the drivers eliminated. Paul di Resta alongside the usual suspects. Once again, it's Narain Kartikeyan, the cucumber, bringing up the rear of the field, with his teammate, in fact, managing 21st place. So impressive from Pedro de la Rosa. But getting into Q2 now, we actually set a banker time at the start of the session on a used set of option tyres. But that was only enough for 16th place. So we got out there towards the end of the session and went purple through Sector 1. By a good margin as well. And coming across the line now, you can see that we managed 5th place in the session, so pretty good time. We'll be looking for a little bit more come at Q3, but there you can see that those drivers won't be competing in Q3, including Nico Rosberg, Kimi Raikkonen and Felipe Massa, all big name casualties in that session alongside the 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher. But here it is Q3 and time to really turn up the wick, turn up the engine to full, drain the fuel, and well, this is really where your weekend starts. Getting into Q3 is one thing, but getting a really good grid position is another. Can we get our first pole position of the season as we now get onto the DRS and across the line? At 1:21.7 is the time to beat. That is Sebastian Vettel. And coming towards the end of the first sector now, is the first sector going to be purple? Yes, it is once again by 5.5 tenths. But we've been quick through that first sector all weekend. This is going to be the real sector where it's going to count. And yes, we are still purple. So in a sector, we've lost about 3 or 4 tenths in that middle sector, but we're still purple, which is the most important thing. Is it going to be pole? Yes, it is. Our first pole of the season. You can see what it means to us, and there we go. By 2.5 tenths of a second, we get pole from Sebastian Vettel, who will be sharing the front row with for tomorrow's race. Our teammate managing 9th position, and our championship rivals in 3rd and 4th, Hamilton and Alonso. We're all separated by about 2 points, I think, at this stage, so you can just see what it means to us there. Pumping our fists, and wow, what a session that was for us, and let's see what we can do now during the race. So then, it is a 43% chance of rain during the race, as you can see on your screens now. But, well, we're starting on the dry compound, so it looks as if the rain is going to be coming to us later on in the race, which could be very, very interesting. But we are in the best position to take command of this race in its early stages. We're on pole position alongside Sebastian Vettel. There you just saw a shot of Lewis Hamilton. He's starting directly behind us in 3rd. But now as the drivers look above them towards the lights are coming on for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix, and it is 5 lights, and away we go here in Catalonia. We get a better start than we did last time in Bahrain, but it's still a little bit bad, getting a bit bogged down at the start. And are we going to hold the lead? No, we're not into turn 1. Sebastian Vettel getting ahead, but here we can see on the cinematics that we managed to just about claim the apex into turn 2, and now into turn 3. We have, as we come into the sweeping right-hander, we have the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is what matters at this point. The gap back to Sebastian Vettel is 5 tenths of a second, and, well, we've got the lead of this Grand Prix, and that is what we wanted to do. And as you can see, just Sebastian Vettel slotting in behind us, so that's what we want at this stage of the race, just to be able to command, it for this first stint. And I believe the rain will be coming in about lap 15, if my calculations are correct. But here we are on lap 7 now, and we're still leading this Grand Prix, but just look at the tyres. I mean, considering we're meant to be going to lap 12 on these set of tyres, we're going to be, well, that left front tyre is really not looking good. And as you can see, going into this high-speed right-hander, we've got a lot of understeer, and Sebastian Vettel says, thank you very much, I'll have that position, Joe. And he slips one down the inside, so all credit to him. But at this stage of the race, I was having a real dilemma, and that was that the rain is going to be coming in about 15 minutes time. My engineer's just come over to tell me. So we're going to have to make a pit stop for another set of dry tyres, because these tyres aren't going to last another 15 minutes, and they're not for any of the AI either. So what I'm thinking is possibly coming in at the end of this lap or next lap, as you can just see how much understeer we're getting, because we really don't want to be losing a lot of time, especially to Vettel in front, and also the cars behind, who are really sort of training up. And, you know, if we lose one more position, it could lead to some more position losses, but we get back past Sebastian Vettel for the lead of this Grand Prix, so that could prove a vital move later on in the race. But anyway, we're up into the lead of this Grand Prix once again, as we just sort of lift into that right-hander this time, making sure not to run out wide once again. But just look at the train of cars behind, which is why I'm really thinking of pitting, because, you know, if we make one more mistake, that could prove pivotal for the rest of the race. You know, we're not just going to lose 1 or 2 places. We could end up losing 8 or 9 places, and maybe even falling out of the points. And as we lock up on the left front tyre going into the chicane and get a lot of wheel spin, we think, you know what, we're going to have to come into the pit lane and maybe sacrifice, well, not sacrificing track position, well, we are to an extent, but we're going to slot out into a gap anyway, so it's not as if we're going to be coming out into traffic. and it's a little bit of a gamble, but also it could be a very, very good call. Sort of come 4 or 5 laps time when the AI come in. So putting on a fresh set of rubber, and I believe also that the AI are going to be putting on the prime tyres when they come into the pit lane, is Kimi Raikkonen sets the fastest lap, which is 2 seconds quicker than what I've been doing. So that just, you know, that just proves the point that I really do need to come into the pit lane. Team radio?
We think there's a chance of light rain in a few minutes' time.
Well, that is interesting. So it's lap 12 now, which means the AI are going to be starting to come in at the end of this lap. We're currently in 17th place behind Felipe Massa, who is interestingly on the prime tyre. So he obviously opted for a different strategy, seeing as he qualified outside of the top 10. But now we've got the DRS and going up into P8. We're ahead of Sebastian Vettel, so we're now in the net lead of this race. Or actually, no, we're not, because that is Felipe Massa who's in the net lead of this race. So it's going to get very, very tasty and very, very interesting, because we're going to have to get past Massa. But I believe the gap back to Vettel is looking as if it's about 3 or 4 seconds. The gap in front to Massa is just 0.2 of a second. So now, as we come to the end of lap 13, I believe that's Nico Rosberg peeling into the pit lane. I could be wrong. No, I'm not wrong, as we now get onto the DRS and try and pass Felipe Massa, but we just don't have the straight line speed, or do we? We're now slipstreaming and going round the outside of the Brazilian. We make the move stick. Do we? No, we don't. We're running side by side. Fantastic racing with Felipe Massa, but we do, in fact, get the lead of this race. Fantastic stuff on lap 14 of this Grand Prix. We're leading, the rain is starting to fall, we've got plus 5 laps of fuel to burn, and this is going to get very, very interesting. And on lap 15 you can just see how dull the skies have got. The rain is coming down, it's very, very difficult to in fact see the track in front. And at this point you can see that our tyres seem to be keeping a reasonable amount of temperature, but Massa is seizing the opportunity on his prime tyres, which seem to be, you know, just coming to the track at this stage. And he goes around the outside, we're wheel to wheel. Are we going to be able to make the move? No, we're not. And, well, we're surely only going to get more understeer into this corner as the rain comes down. And yes, we are. We just can't take it full throttle. Are we going to go down the inside, going into the hairpin right-hander? Are we going to go around the outside? No, we're not. We're getting a lot of understeer. And now Vettel's in front of us, so we're down into P3. And that is not good whatsoever. So, well, we're getting so much understeer. And we think at the end of lap 16, you know what? This weather's only getting worse. We're going to have to come in for another stop, or second stop of the afternoon. And this time it is not going to be a set of option or prime tyres. It's a set of intermediate tyres. So once again, a bit of a gamble, seeing as none of the AI have come in, but we just could not bear it out there. I mean, we were just losing temperature in the tyres, and you know, when you lose temperature in these tyres, it's so difficult to get it back in. So we thought, you know what, we're just going to YOLO it, go on to the intermediate tyres and see how we fare. We've got a lot of fuel to burn, and we've got a lot of clear air in front of us, so this is going to be very, very interesting to see how we do. The tyres looking not as if they're out of the temperature range whatsoever, as we're turning very, very nicely into that right-hander. So is it going to be an inspired decision to do what we've done? And as we come towards the end of lap 17, it's looking as if it may be an inspired decision, because everyone is coming into the pit lane. We're going to gain big time out of this, surely, and maybe even get back up into the lead of the race. Surely we're going to be close to it. And now we're up into P3 and up into P2. So Vettel's had a nightmare. He's down into P4. Button's up to P3. But somehow Felipe Massa has managed to keep the temperature in his tyres. He's come in at the end of lap 17 and he's still got a huge lead over myself. So I'm not quite sure how Massa has managed that, but, you know, credit to him. He has pulled off an incredible recovery during this race. A 3-second lead is what he has. And now at the end of lap 18, we've got puddles on the racetrack, and you guys know what puddles mean. And yes, that means that it's time for the full wet tyres. So just 2 laps after we changed onto the intermediate tyres, and just 1 lap after the AI changed onto the intermediate tyres, we're going to come into the pit lane for a set of full wet tyres. There is heavy rain out on track now. And, well, it's going to be interesting to see how much we actually gain or lose out of this, because I believe, yeah, the gap up to Felipe Massa says 6.5 seconds, but of course that includes us being in the pit lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how we actually fare and see how close we can get to Felipe Massa. But coming out of the pit lane now at the start of lap 19, it looks as if these tyres are just about in the groove now. And are we able to turn around this right-hander nicely? Yes, we are. So could this be yet another inspired decision? And it is definitely time for full wets. As you can see by the track conditions, it's a 2.8 second gap up to Jean-Eric Vergne. So how quickly will we be able to close that gap down? And you can see visibly that that gap is not 2.8 seconds anymore. Schumacher's had a moment. And are we going to be able to get past him going into the left-hander? Maybe stick our nose down the inside. Yes, we are. That was an easy move. So it is definitely time for the full wet tyres now. It'll be interesting to see whether the AI do come in at the end of this lap, or maybe they're going to try and brave it out and hope that the conditions improve. It is all up for grabs in this Spanish Grand Prix. I probably haven't been showing a great deal of excitement in my voice this race, but it is just such an intriguing race of strategy. You know, there's not been the volume of overtakes, as I say, as we go around the outside of Jean-Eric Vergne. But, you know, these last 14, 15 laps are completely full of strategy and, well, just strategic calls. And it is going to be very, very interesting as we go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton at the end of lap 19. And coming round the final corner now, everybody is in the pit lane. And, well, where are we going to come out? That is the question, as we set a 151.6, but that doesn't really mean anything, as we're now in P2, so that is fantastic stuff. Our teammates up to P4, so well done to Pastor Maldonado, but it is still that man, Felipe Massa, who has somehow managed to make those intermediate tyres work on that last lap, and it actually looks as if the gap's even bigger than it was before. So I've got to give huge credit to Felipe Massa at this stage of the race. Yes, the gap's 3.9 seconds now, so he's extended the gap by nearly a second somehow. And yeah, we're just going to check on the race director, and everybody is now on the wet tyres. So yeah, that is confirmed. Massa in front is on the wets, and we just lock our rear brakes. And that is not going to help our cause whatsoever. Now on to lap 24, coming into the right-hander. And it looks as if the rain is just easing off at this stage of the race. And maybe time for intermediate tyres. And oh my word, we lock our rear brakes once again. This time not because it's too wet, but it's because the conditions are improving on track. Massa was bolting at this stage as well. He's 8.4 seconds up the road. And come the end of lap 24, Massa's in the pit lane for a set of intermediate tyres. So, yeah, I was sort of thinking, whatever Massa does, I'm going to do something different. Because, you know, I thought he was going to come into the pit lane, then, you know, I might as well stay out. Because there is a race to be won here. And on lap 25, you can see the gap is 8 seconds behind. So, he's definitely gaining at this stage. But the rain sort of came back at this stage, so it'll be incredibly interesting, as I've said for the 500th time, just to see what Massa's times are going to be like. So Jenson Button's a further 15 seconds behind. I decided to just stay out because I believe I can actually probably maybe even, you know, protect an 8-second lead. And now what's the gap back to Massa now? Is it still 8 seconds? I'm pretty sure 8 seconds have passed as we come now down into turn 1, and the gap is now 12 seconds. So we've gained 4 seconds in one sector. The wet tyres are the tyres to be on for sure. So, well, as we come to the end of lap 27, the gap is now 22 seconds. As he's managed to somehow brave it out on those intermediate tyres. But now it is time for the intermediates. So we're coming into the pit lane to put on a set of the intermediate tyres. Hopefully this is going to be our final stop of the afternoon. I wouldn't bank on it knowing what's happened during the course of this race. But we're coming into the pit lane to fit a set of intermediate tyres. The gap is definitely going to be closing now to Felipe Massa, and at the end of lap 30 we've got a lot of blue sky, but we are still in the lead. And let's see what the gap is behind. And I'm pretty sure we managed to keep it a constant. As you can see, the rain has completely completely stop now. And the pit lane, I believe, is about 17 or 18 seconds long. And yes, the gap back to Massa is 7.6 seconds. Of course, we've got fresher intermediate tyres as well. And Massa was just sort of starting to close that gap as I was being incredibly cautious in the final stages of this race, going around the outside of a Aeterno, which nearly turned into our path. But still, coming towards the end of the penultimate lap of this race, we were cruising at this stage. And now it is lap 33. We're coming to close in on our first victory of this season. We've most definitely earned it. We've had a good few podiums over the course of the season so far. The gap back to Massa is 5 seconds. And now it's probably just about time for the dry tyres. It's been a completely crazy race. We've managed to keep a cool head in all of this. And as we come round the final corner, we're going to be weaving to the line surely. We have taken our first victory of Season 3, guys. What a win it was. And we are now leading the World Drivers' Championship. What a win that was, guys. What a race. Our teammate Maldonado in 5th place. So what a result for Williams. 35 points in the bag. And look, there you can see confirmation that we took the race win from Felipe Massa. Fantastic race for him. 13th up to 2nd, but what could have been also for the Ferrari man. Jenson Button rounds out the podium spots, and there you can see our teammate Maldonado in 5th. Lewis Hamilton only getting 2 points, and our other championship rival Fernando Alonso not getting any points whatsoever. So we have now got a 20-point lead in the World Drivers' Championship. Williams up to 2nd in the Constructors as well, which is fantastic. And well, that just about caps off today's video, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. Like I say, this video will go out on the Wednesday, and then hopefully I'll be starting to give you guys some F1 2015 content on Thursday or Friday. So this series will be back, don't you guys worry, so make sure you leave a like down below and comment on what you thought of this race. It really was crazy, wasn't it, guys? But thanks ever so much once again for watching to this stage, and I'll see you guys for F1 2014, the final video that I've got for that tomorrow. But until then, guys, take care, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.